Sergeant David Miles had worn the U.S. Army uniform with honor. For 12 years, through 3 tours overseas, on this warm Saturday afternoon, he wasn't in combat gear. He was dressed in his crisp service uniform, medals gleaming on his way to a community event where he was to be honored. As he parked on Main Street and walked toward the town square, the screech of tires shattered the calm. A police cruiser swerved to a stop beside him. 2 officers jumped out. "Stop right there," one barked, hand hovering near his holster. David turned, steady but confused. "Can I help you, officers?" "You match the description of a robbery suspect," the taller one snapped, his eyes lingering on David's dark skin instead of the ribbons and rank, pins across his chest. "I'm a U.S. Army sergeant," David replied, holding out his ID. They never looked. The shorter officer jerked his arms back, snapping on the cuffs so tight they cut into his wrists. Voices rose around them. Bystanders pulled out phones, shouting for the officers to notice his uniform. The warnings went ignored. "You're making a mistake," David said evenly, his military discipline keeping his voice calm. "That's for us to decide," sneered the taller officer. David drew a slow breath. "Fine, then let me make one call." They laughed, but shoved his phone into his hand. Without hesitation, he dialed his commanding officer, who also happened to be a close friend of the police chief. Minutes later, another siren wailed. A black SUV rolled up and out stepped the chief himself, fury written across his face. "Release him, now!" The officers froze. "Chief, You thought wrong," the chief snapped. "You just cuffed an active-duty sergeant in full uniform without probable cause. I've got witnesses and video to prove it. The cuffs came off with a click, but the damage was done." David flexed his sore wrists and looked each officer in the eye. "I fought for this country overseas," he said quietly. "I shouldn't have to fight for respect here at home." The chief turned to the crowd. "Everyone here expect to see these men disciplined." And he meant it. By day's end, the officers were suspended. Within a week, they were gone from the force. As David continued toward the event, the crowd broke into applause. But the moment was bigger than one man's freedom. It was a community standing against prejudice, and a reminder that accountability can begin with a single phone call.